Hi everyone, I'm Kay of Kay's Creative Home. Welcome back to the channel. And if this is your first time here, we welcome you. So today we're going to put together a bow using these two ribbons. These are Sam Club ribbons. They are 2.5 inches wide. And we're putting this together for the triple crown wreath that I showed in my last video. This is going to go right in the center of that wreath. So I'm going to start with the lavender. I'm going to put that toward the back since the flower ribbon is so pretty. And these are two of the ribbons that I used in that triple crown wreath. So it's just going to pull everything together when you see it. So I've laid my zip tie on the Easy Bow Maker, and now I've attached two of the pipe cleaners together, and so that it'll be nice and long and it can reach down through that wreath. I'm going to start with this one making a 8-inch tail because my loops are going to start at 8. I'm going to start this with a 7-inch tail because my loops are going to be 7 inches, and I'll explain that a little more later why I'm starting with 7 inches versus 6. So I'm going to do go back and forth with this. I'm going to do 3 loops on each side first. I'm going to do 7 inches, and I'm going to fan them out so it's kind of one left, one right, one center. And like I said, I'm going to do 3 of those loops on each side. Now the reason I am making this a little longer, the next one, when I do the flower ribbon, I'm going to start at 6 inches. I've started this one at 7 inches because it's going to be in the back behind the other ribbon, and just because it's so full that by the time I place them together, it's going to take more length for it to kind of reach into the bow that's going to be on top of it. And you'll kind of see what I mean when I put them together. I tried making them both the same length before, and when I went to pull them together, the one on the bottom actually looked a little shorter. Okay, so I've got my 3 loops on each side, and now I'm doing 2 loops on each side, but I've come down 1 inch, so I'm now at the 6 inch. Excuse me. So when I do these 2 loops on each side, they will kind of be in between the bottom 3. So the bottom ones are on the left, center, and right, and these will be kind of in the openings in between the bottom ribbons, and I'll show you what that looks like a little later on. So I got one more to do, I think, to get to my second one. Add that in here, and what I do is excuse me, kind of measure the ribbon out to the length I want, and then I gather it at the point where it's going to go into the bow maker, and then I give it a twist on the open side, and then I make my next loop. Now these last 2 loops that this one I'm doing is going to be 5 inches. So I went 7, 3 at 7, 2 at 6, 1 at 5. That's going to stay again right in between the 2 that are beneath it. Excuse me a minute, I've got to take a swallow of water. So this last tail here, I'm going to cut it at 7. I think in the end I might make it a little shorter. Just depends on how it looks once I get my bow together. And I will be dovetailing the ends of the tails. So you can see again, I'm spreading out the bottom 3. Then I have the 2 on top of that, and then the 1 in the center at the very top. So they just, each row gets a little shorter and not quite as wide. And see how they kind of fit in between each other? Yeah, and I'm kind of showing how I made it fall in between on each layer. That falls between the bottom, and that's falling between the middle. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So now I'm going to take my zip tie, I'm pulling it up, and I'm going to wrap it around here. I'm going to bring this up and hold it in my hand, swing that zip tie around, and begin pulling it together snugly. I love when I see people do this and they pull that thing up and everything stays right in place, and mine just, nope. It just goes every which kind of way. So this is where I stop and I start shaping things again, spreading the loops out so they still fall where I want them to fall. Then this one has the pipe cleaners on it because it's going to be the one in the back, so it will be the one attached into my wreath. Now here I excuse me again, I have pulled the zip tie totally securely and as tight as I can get it, and cut it with the zip tie gun. And now I'm still just shaping a little bit, and I'll be getting ready to do the next layer. So again, if this is your first time here, I'd like to welcome you. And if you're enjoying the video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with others. And if you haven't joined, if you'd like to be a family member, you feel free to hit the subscribe button and ring the bell, and you'll be notified as new videos are released. Okay, so now I want to do the next ribbon. Excuse me again. This one, because it's on top, I don't need that long pipe cleaner in the back to attach it to the wreath, because you know, that's already there on the bottom layer. Okay, so now I'm starting. I said it's 6 inches. I've given it a 6-inch tail, and now I'm going to start with 6-inch loops on each side, and gonna excuse me. I'm going to do the same thing. It's going to be the same bow that I just created with the lavender, just not quite as big. So I'm going to do three loops on each side, and they're going to be at the 6-inch mark. I just want to let you know, if you don't know already, I do have an Etsy shop, and a lot of the things I make here are in the Etsy shop. Unless someone sees it and, you know, says right away, "Can I buy that from you?" and it never gets listed. If you see me make something here and it's not in the Etsy shop, you can always check with me. Just leave a comment asking if I have another of, you know, that particular wreath or that particular bow. I will also sell ribbon. I had started listing all the ribbon I had, and it just got to be such a chore that I didn't do that anymore. But if you see a ribbon that I'm working with and you'd like to buy it in 5 or 10 yard increments, you can leave that in a comment too, and I will work on getting it listed so that you can make that purchase. Okay, so now I've got 3 on each side at 6. Now I'm going to do 2 loops on each side at the 5-inch mark. So like I was saying, plenty of things are available in my Etsy shop. I think I'm going to go ahead and start dropping prices on some of the Easter items. So if you want to look at those things, feel free to. The link is in the description just below the video here. I also am running a few specials. Got some overstock that I want to move. So if you're in an area where you don't have a Dollar Tree, I have the Anchor reforms. I'm selling them a dozen for $24. So yes, that is a little higher than in the shop, but it's cheaper than most other listings. And I really just wanted to break even on those prices. So by the time I cover the cost of the wreath and the cost of Etsy fees, then that price will pretty much cover it. It's like $2 each. I'm doing them in groups of 24 just because it'll save me and you on shipping. If I had to keep boxing up every 3 or 4, then the cost would have to be higher because of the cost of boxes. All right, so just to let you know a few things that are going on in the Etsy shop, and I hope you'll take some time to check that out. It is still the same name as here, Kay's Creative Home. So please take the time to give us a visit. All right, so I've got this bow made. Those top 2 loops are 4 inches. I went 6, 5, and 4. So I'm going to take this zip tie and pull it around, start working its way around there. I've slid it around to the back. I'm going to have to try a different camera angle too so people can really see what I'm doing when I slide that zip tie around. And now I'm just shaping the bow as usual and trying to make sure everything is still lined up. And now I'm going to completely tighten it with that zip tie gun and clip the end. All right, so I'm gonna dovetail the ends of my tails there. And now this is where I put them together. Okay, I'm going to take one heading left and right, and the other's going to go top and bottom. So just like that. Now this is where I was saying when I pull that lavender up into the, or up around the floral ribbon, it's got to be a little longer just to reach around. And in the end, it looks like they're all right, like the same length. So one piece of my pipe cleaner that I'm going to use to hold them together. You can see how I'm going at a diagonal in between so that I'm catching both color ribbons. I'm pulling it through as tightly as I can, and then I'm just going to give it a twist in the back to make it tight. And that's just, like I said, holding them together. I think if I had not pulled the lavender as tightly until I got them together, the bow might have worked out a little more. But I don't know. I sometimes I'll be thinking things, I'll be overthinking the way I do things, and I thought it might give it a chance to not curl up so much, because when you pull a bow tightly, those loops start to come in at the center, and so they pop up at the top. And so I was trying to make sure it didn't pop too much, because then it was hard to get the floral ribbon to fit down into the lavender one snugly. But I think it worked out. So again, now that everything's together, I still got to pull things apart and make sure everything is in the place where I want it. And I couldn't figure out what was going on there, but then I finally realized I was pulling one of those loops in the wrong direction. So there it is. Now I've got the two on the longer ones and the shortest one on top. So I'm going to do that on both sides, and then I'm going to do the same with the lavender on the sides. And I'm kind of lifting it up, like I said, the lavender up into the florals there so that they're all at the same heights, and everything, like the layers, seem to be at the same height and all of that good stuff. And I'm gonna shape this and shape this until I get it just like I want it. And then I will share with you pictures of how it looks once I insert it into the wreath. Okay, so I just want to thank you for spending this time with me, and I'll be talking with you again real soon. So stay tuned a moment, and I'll show you the wreath. Have a good one.